On Thai PBS World Tonight, Pheu Thai party candidate has won the mayoral elections in Udon Thani on Sunday, with Thaksin expressing his congratulations. An arrest warrant has been issued for former Palang Pracharath member in the notorious Icon Group scandal. And over 240 investors have filed police complaints claiming they have been defrauded by a medical tycoon.
Good evening and welcome to Thai PBS World Tonight. I'm Nat Bunat.
I'm Pheu Thai.
I will begin the program tonight with, of course, what has been happening during the local elections, and all eyes have been on Thailand's northeastern province of Udon Thani. And as expected, a Pheu Thai party-backed candidate has won the mayoral elections on Sunday. So it might be fair to say that Thaksin's campaign has actually paid off because Sarawut has actually won the elections in Udon Thani province. And the Pheu Thai-backed candidate Sarawut Phepanompon won the Udon Thani Provincial Administrative Organization mayoral election. And according to unofficial poll results, Sarawut received a total of 327,000 votes, beating Kanisorn Kurirang representing the People's Party, who received 268,000 votes. At the same time, New Direction Party's candidate Donut Tan Thirtit received 17,000 votes. And the voter turnout was about 52% out of 1.2 million voters in Udon Thani. And last night, former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who spent 2 days this month campaigning for Sarawut, congratulated him on his victory in Udon Thani, which he says is a registered stronghold. He also assured the people in the northeastern province that Sarawut's tenure as the mayor will not be a disappointment and that he will do his very best for the people. Otherwise, Thaksin said he would personally take action. So let's have a listen to what he had to say.
วันนี้เราขอทวงคืนนะครับผมกลับมาแล้วขอทวงคืนคะแนนเสียงจากพี่น้องชาวอุดรและพี่น้องชาวอุดรและพี่น้องชาวอุดรก็ให้อย่างชัดเจนนะครับเพื่อสร้างคำหน้าให้ชัดกว่านี้อีกหน่อยนะครับเราจะได้ไปให้มั่นใจเลยครับว่าเราจะได้อยู่กับพี่น้องชาวอุดรดูแลพี่น้องชาวอุดรตลอดไปก็ขอแสดงความยินดีหวังว่าสารวุฒินายกอบจคนใหม่จะทุ่มเททำงานให้พี่น้องชาวอุดรอย่างเต็มที่นะครับไม่ให้พี่น้องผิดหวังนะครับ
And that was Thaksin's speech to congratulate Sarawut on his victory. And you can hear that there were loud cheers throughout the speech as well. And meanwhile, Sarawut, who won the mayoral elections, told Thai PBS reporters that one of the first things that he would want to work on once he becomes the new PAO chief of Udon Thani is to improve the access to clean water.
ตอนที่พักส่งผมลงเนี่ยเขาถามผมว่าผมอยากจะทำเรื่องอะไรมากที่สุดให้กับคนอุดรผมตอบเป็นเรื่องน้ำนะครับก็เรื่องน้ำประปาเนี่ยมันเป็นเขาเรียกว่ามันอยู่กับชีวิตนะเรื่องน้ำคนเนี่ยมันเป็นเรื่องสำคัญของการใช้ชีวิตนะครับและเรารู้ว่าปัญหาของพี่น้องประชาชนที่อยู่รอบๆที่อยู่ในอำเภอต่างๆหมู่บ้านต่างๆเนี่ยเรื่องน้ำประปาสะอาดแล้วน้ำใช้อย่างพอเพียงเนี่ยมันยังมีปัญหาแล้วผมตั้งใจทำเรื่องนี้นะครับ
All right, and meanwhile, the People's Party candidate Kanisorn Kurirang conceded defeat in the mayoral elections. However, he took this opportunity to thank the supporters of the People's Party for all of the votes, especially those who voted in the Udon Thani municipality, as he won the most votes there.
ภูมิใจมากและเป็นคะแนนที่เรารู้สึกว่าก็ตัวพี่น้องมอบให้จากใจนะครับเราจากจิตจากใจของพี่น้องจริงๆนะครับต้องกราบขอบพระคุณนะครับคะแนนในเขตเทศบาลนครอุดรธานีเราชนะเกือบ 100% นะครับอันนี้ต้องกราบขอบคุณพี่น้องชาวในเขตเทศบาลนครอุดรธานีด้วยนะครับคะแนนเรารู้สึกเป็นคะแนนที่เราได้รับมาจากใจจริงๆนะครับ
Well, we gotta say that the Udon Thani elections was definitely a fierce competition. But apart from Udon Thani, the local elections also took place in other provinces as well, whether it's in Phetchaburi, Nakhon Si Thammarat, and also Surin. And most of the winners came from the parties of the ruling coalition. So you can see that most of the winners are either from the Pheu Thai party or parties within the same coalition?
All in all, of course, I think Pheu Thai got A+ in the score, but
Yeah.
finally, People's Party got F. The fail again because, of course, People's Party, with the support of Pita Limjaranrat and, of course, the leader Kun Natapong there, they want to get a lot of seats in this PAO elections, but they put themselves and all efforts on the ground. And, of course, Kun Tang, the Natapong,
Yeah.
also have the Teng Tua Thai, right? That
Yeah.
program, but now we haven't seen any effective solution and effective outcome there because this time, actually, the margin between People's Party's candidates and Pheu Thai's party's candidates is still huge.
Well, we gotta say that the northeastern region, especially in Udon Thani, has been a stronghold of the Pheu Thai party for many years. So it would be really difficult for the People's Party to win, considering that most of the supporters are leaning towards Thaksin and most of the people from the Pheu Thai party. So with the election results that came out yesterday, it wasn't surprising at all. But even when Thaksin was there to campaign for Sarawut, or even the People's Party had Pheu Thai and most of the core members of the party campaigning for the candidate, it hasn't really changed the minds of the people, because if you compete in this battleground that has been leaning towards a certain party for many years, it's really difficult to change their minds.
Since the root has grown there since 2000s. So it's a very, very difficult way for, of course, for People's Party, even though, as what you said, the core member were there to help the candidate, but finally they failed. But of course, still, we are seeing a lot of local elections and, of course, general election coming in near future. So we will see the result.
Right, and now let's talk about the ongoing scandal, which is none other than the Icon Group scandal. So as we have reported earlier, that most of the core members of the Icon Group were currently in prison, but this case has unraveled more and more scandals surrounding the business, as well as those involved, including a politician who was formerly of the Palang Pracharath party. So the criminal court has issued a warrant for the arrest of Sama Jenchai Jitwanit, a former member of the Palang Pracharath party, for allegedly extorting money from Icon Group CEO Waratpol Waratwarakul, also known as Boss Paul. Department of Special Investigation Officer said today that Samad has offered to go to the DSI on Tuesday to acknowledge the charges. And this morning, the DSI officers went to the house of Samad's mother in Bangkok's Ratchathewi district and took her into custody for questioning regarding her role in Samad's alleged extortion. The DSI has charged Samad and his mother with money laundering after it was discovered that the money, which was allegedly extorted from the Icon Group CEO, was transferred to his mother's bank account before being further transferred to his bank account. Samad quit the Palang Pracharath party on October 25th to avoid being sacked by the Palang Pracharath party for his involvement with the Icon Group. Samad, who is reportedly to be very close to Palang Pracharath party leader General Prawit Wongsuwan, was heard in a leaked audio clip offering help to end the criminal case against the Icon Group CEO. So you can see that the case has gone bigger and bigger, and it has unraveled more secrets. Last time we talked about this hidden character behind all of this drama, but it has been revealed that Sama was actually the person in the leaked audio clip. So you see how it turned out.
And when it goes to politics, merged with this chaotic case, everything will get very, very worse at this moment. And of course, right now, as what we said, the criminal court already issued a warrant there. And, you know, Palang Pracharath party, of course, core members, they do not want to get involved in this case too. But right now, of course, this person, Kun Sama, is former member of Palang Pracharath party, but still people will link it together. But we will still wait for the authority to clear this case. But snowballs get bigger.
Yes, it's true because apart from the fact that many people have been affected from investing with the Icon Group and the combined losses are over $1 billion baht already, but then you can see that there are more people who have been involved in this case. You can see more scandals here and there, and many people have been held accountable for such cases as well.
And where they get extorted the money from illegal income too.
Yeah.
Wow, it's very huge.
Yes, and now let's turn to another high-profile fraud case which involves a medical tycoon, and hundreds of investors have filed complaints to the police claiming that they have been defrauded by this medical tycoon. So more than 240 investors have filed police complaints claiming that they have been defrauded by Dr. Boon Vanasin, founder of the Thonburi Healthcare Group or THG, out of a combined 7.6 billion baht. And according to police, Boon's daughter and his ex-wife have claimed that signatures purporting to be theirs, which appear on the loan and guarantee agreements between Boon and the investors, were forged, and that they knew nothing about the alleged fraud. The ex-wife told the police that Boon is currently in China, and the Thai Interpol has the issuance of a red notice for the arrest of the fugitive doctor. So far, multiple charges have already been filed against Boon, his wife, his daughter, and 6 other associates, including defrauding the public, money laundering, and violations of the Check Act. And according to the police, Boon had posted announcements on social media in February last year, claiming that the THG was planning to invest in 5 medical service projects in Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. And to recap, the 5 projects include 1, a cancer center in the Pringao area of Bangkok, which is worth about 4 billion baht. Another is an elderly wellness center in Bangkok's Rama 3 area, which is estimated to cost about 5 billion baht. And there are also 3 hospitals in Laos, with 2 in Vientiane and 1 in Champasak. A joint venture project to build a hospital in Vietnam at an estimated cost of 5 billion baht. Last but not least, a medical intelligence facility at an estimated cost of 100 million baht. And out of all of these 5 projects, none of them have materialized. Investors transferred their payments to Boon, backed by loan and guarantee agreements, and in return, they were issued with post-dated checks representing their returns plus interest and a promise of shares in the Thonburi Healthcare Group. However, several investors discovered that their checks bounced, prompting them to file complaints with the police. So this is a huge scandal, which is as big as the Icon Group, but for different reasons. And even though the ex-wife and the daughter have surrendered to the police yesterday, but you can see that many people have been heavily affected by the investments, and it turned out that none of these projects were materialized.
And I think investors, they need to be very careful when they see these eye-catching international or local hospital projects there, because you have to put a lot of investment in. It's not just million of baht, sometimes it's billion. And of course, as what you said, Boon, as in the leader, business leader here, right now, according to his family right now in China, so it could be quite difficult to have him in authority to take over for more investigation.
But speaking of THG, it's actually a huge company when it comes to hospitals of the same range. But then because of the ongoing controversy here, THG, which operates Thonburi Hospital as well as 18 hospitals under its umbrella, has actually said that the scandal had no impact on the overall business because Dr. Boon resigned as the chairman and the director since 2022. And they also insisted that they had nothing to do with the 5 projects that we have reported just now. So the THG has said that they have nothing to do with the 5 projects, and Dr. Boon actually resigned from this whole thing, from the whole company, since 2022. So what is happening now, it's all on him, not on THG.
And of course, this is how conglomerate will use their PR strategy to say that, okay, we are out of the scope right now because what he has done is illegal. But of course, we still have to wait for the police, the authority, even the prosecutor office to see the detail there. Even if the hospital group there already said that, okay, we are out of the case. But of course, we still see the authorities' detail to see how Dr. Boon and the Thonburi Hospital really linked together or not.
Yes, and this would be a tough job on the TJG on how they could reclaim their reputation among the people as well as the investors.
Right. Let's turn the page to business and economy because, of course, Thai business leader, they already give set of recommendations for the government to achieve long-term and sustainable goal. Of course, for next year, GDP growth more than 3%. The recommendations have been gleaned from seminars involving all provincial chambers of commerce across the country and are contained in a white paper submitted to the government by Sanan Bonggun, chairman of the Thai Chamber of Commerce and Board of Trade. Sanan explained that the private sector's recommendations revolve around connections for growth, building networking to strengthen businesses, and the introduction of innovations for sustainable development. According to the paper, the government's priorities should be the building of Thai and foreign business confidence through price controls on basic products, reduction of production costs, by freezing electricity and diesel prices, increasing the minimum wage within the mechanism of the wage committee, and equitable distribution of the public sector budget to urban and rural areas. Sanan also said that the government should help SMEs to become more competitive and reduce their debts, adding that the government should set a national strategy for long-term and sustainable development. The private sector has proposed that Buri should be incorporated into the Eastern Economic Corridor because the province has great potential. Other recommendations including promotion of AI, the digital economy, EVs, and green energy. He said that Thailand's economy has a chance to grow by as much as 5% if the government manages to ease household debt and ensures more equitable distribution of revenues. So, of course, this is the strategy that Kun Sanan has always discussed, always proposed, always emphasized to the government for long-term growth. But right now, I think what the government still pushes is the 10K budget, the 10K digital money.
And it seems like the government has been overly focusing on the 10,000 baht budget for the digital wallet scheme, the cash payouts rather, and trying to improve the livelihood of those in the grassroots level. But then what Sanan said is more about the overall economy, but with the projection that next year might be 3 or 5%, that is a very positive outlook here, considering the overall situation with the economic situation, and then people are still struggling with the household debt.
Yes, and one thing to talk about actually is the GDP growth, because in Q3 we see 3%, but if next year we reach 5%, it's almost the double digit there. So of course, Sana Bonggun and of course the government led by our Pheu Thai, the Prime Minister, really wants to push Thailand to become a high income status country. But World Bank said that we need 7% until 2030. I mean, the GDP growth annually. So right now, how can the government push the GDP growth to 7% is the key issue. So of course, this time I had the chance to talk to the Indonesia's former finance minister on this issue, especially regional perspective, as in how ASEAN countries, including Indonesia and Thailand, to live up to high-income countries. And of course, FDI and productivity can help us and help both countries to another level. Let's have a look.
Another issue we have to talk about, of course, I think amid this very fast shift of a global supply chain to Southeast Asia, I think, of course, right now, in Southeast Asia or in ASEAN, we have the competitions or power struggles that, of course, each country want to get a lot of foreign direct investment. But what specific strategy can Indonesia right now to attain more investment from these benefits of shifting global supply chain and offshoring to allies too?
Well, let me put it this way. I think the recent development with the geopolitical tension between US and China will somehow affect the landscape of the global trade and investment. If US imposing the import tariff 60% from the Chinese product, somehow this will sort of like push some companies to relocate their production base from China to outside China and maybe Southeast Asian countries, including Thailand, including Indonesia. So the opportunities is there because there will be a sort of like an inflow into the various countries. But as you said, the issue is about competition. The investor will find a country or a place that could provide the very productive worker, very efficient, governance system, certainty. So in this case, I think if Indonesia would like to take the benefit of this opportunity for foreign direct investment, the first thing is what we need to improve is to improve the investment climate, the cost doing business. When I was in the government, I was a chairman of the investment board, sort of like a minister of investment at the time, and I said that jokingly, one of the reasons of why many Indonesians become religious is because they have to deal with the government. So if you apply something, you need to pray to God because so many uncertainties. So government, I believe that, and this is the commitment from the new president, will improve the cost doing business, will create a certainty. So in the case of Indonesia, the bill has been passed.
In addition to political stability, we have to look at economic policies too, because of course, as what you talk about, the potential escalating trade war between two superpowers there might affect the economic growth in Southeast Asia. And as in, of course, Indonesia's new president, President Prabowo Subianto, there to talk about a GDP growth of 8% to become a high income country. And Thailand, of course, is aiming at a high-income country status by 2030. But actually, World Bank told me that Thailand needs 7% GDP growth per year until 2030. So do you think this goal is practical? And if we really have to achieve that goal, what should the ASEAN do? What should the Southeast Asian countries do to doing for a very stable growth, rather than, of course, we have to facing the challenges there?
Sure. I couldn't agree more with you, because let me talk in the perspective, like in the case of Indonesia. We grew around 5% in the last 10 years, which is pretty good from the perspective of the global standard. But I would say this 5% is not enough, because by 2050, Indonesia will start to enter the aging population. Similar to many countries in Southeast Asia, I believe. So before you enter the aging population, it is very important you accumulate wealth. Otherwise, there is a risk that to get old, too old to get rich. Then become very difficult. That is why you need to accelerate the economic growth. In the case of Thailand, you mentioned about 7%. In the case of Indonesia, it should go around above 6, 7, or even 8% by the end of administration. Now the question is, how can we reach this 8% economic growth? In the case of Indonesia, it really depends so much on the investment. My estimate is if Indonesia would like to accelerate the economic growth by 8%, we need the ratio investment over GDP around 50%, 50 to 54%. So I'm talking about 12,000 trillion, a significant amount. Nowadays, our investment over GDP is around 37%. So we need to increase the investment over GDP significantly. The challenge is our gross domestic saving is only about 36% of GDP. So definitely what the government needs to do to achieve this 8% economic growth is they have to open to the foreign investment because we don't have enough domestic resources. The second one, we have to improve productivity. So with the lower capex, we could produce the same output. And the third one is because there is a saving investment gap. In the case of Indonesia, we have to increase savings.
So yes, of course, Dr. Basili there say that the productivity and foreign direct investment can really help us, but both governments need to have relevant regulations and open the economy for new investors.
And that's a very interesting point. But we have to mention one thing, though, that many of the countries are focusing on geopolitics now because, you know, with the changes with the US government, now they have a new president, Donald Trump, there will be changes with the tariffs and also the relations with other countries. So many of the countries, including Thailand and Indonesia, they will have to keep an eye on what policies will be imposed so that they have to adapt.
And one thing that Dr. Basili talked about is the quality of labor force. Because, of course, in ASEAN, we need to embrace this new foreign direct investment for our tech-savvy labor force, because we can see the AI adoption in the market is very important, as in, of course, new investor, when they come to this region, they want to see which country can provide relevant labor force for them.
And digitalization is the thing right now, especially with the improvements to AI technology, robotics, and many more that are related to digital services. So all these countries have to step up and then show to the world how much they have improved over the years with the services and the infrastructure as well.
Including Thailand then. Thailand has a lot of benefits and advantages, as in we have a very good location. But how about the inside, the labor force, which could really provide the quality to new investors? Of course, we already have data centers coming in, but more than that.
Yeah, exactly. And that wraps up tonight's edition of Thai PBS World Tonight. Join us every Monday and Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Thai PBS World's Facebook and YouTube Live. And don't forget to follow us on social media and our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates about Thailand as well as analyses. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ